Not saved.
Welcome, everyone. I welcome you to the May 15th meeting of the Collegedale City Commission. We look forward to the matters before us on the agenda this evening. And we will begin this meeting this evening with the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Baker, you will be leading us.
Let us pray, please. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and your blessings and for bringing everyone here safely. God, we ask for your direction and guidance in the decisions that we make and help for everyone to get home safely, Lord. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Can we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
We have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
I'm present.
Commissioner Lamb,
Here.
Commissioner Sadler,
Here.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Here.
Mayor Lloyd.
Here. Okay, I believe all of our commissioners had a chance to take a look at the previous meeting minutes from May 1st, our last Collegedale City Commission meeting. Any questions, changes, additions?
Move to approve.
No, second.
Okay, we have a motion for approval and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Yay.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. In the next part of our meeting, we reserve comments from citizens. If you have a comment which you would like to address the commission, we ask that you step forward to the microphone, give us your name as well as your address, please.
Good evening. My name is Debbie Alden, 9421 Leland Drive, and I'm coming on two matters, which I don't know a whole lot about either one, but I just want to make sure that it's on the forefront. The first one is an agenda item later today about the resurfacing of Swinyar. And as that project rolls forward, I have some concerns about the entire Greenbrier Cove, the residents, the Garden Plaza, Morning Point, cars coming and going. Will Swinyard be totally cut off for that time? And people will have to go out to Leland and make a left-hand turn to get to the Walmart and, you know, the banks and things? Or will there still be a lane open during that time? Also, because of the emergency vehicles coming in, if it is closed, they'll have to go all the way around and then come back up, which will add minutes to any emergencies that need to happen within our area. So I would just want to make sure that as that bid is being approved, is there some contingencies there that if it's being shut down, are there going to be signs put out there to slow people down on Ottawa Ringgold so that our residents can get out safely? We've talked about we can't get a light up there until there's accidents like Edgemond, where there were, you know, some even fatalities, I believe. And I really don't want fatalities to be the reason that we get a light there. I'd prefer that the state just do the right thing. So we don't want to set this up to get that light that way. We have not found any people willing to risk their lives for that light yet. And then the other concern that I have is the budget of the 12% increase that's greater than inflation. People's pensions haven't gone up, Social Security raises haven't gone up that much in the private sector or public sector for raises, and yet you want to tax us at 12% higher than what we've been taxed. That to really take a look at the budget areas, some of the salary increases, I realize that these city employees work very hard, but we need to stay within our budget. When I want to spend more money, I don't get to go and ask for more money from someplace so that I can raise my spending. I have to keep it within the limits that I've already got. Also, the retention and bonus things, looking at what that policy is, it seems to be higher than Chattanooga, than Hamilton County, other common places here in the amount of bonuses that our employees are getting. And then also, I've recently heard that some of the employees get full family health insurance paid, and I've never even heard of that. Private or public sectors. These are public employees. I was a public employee. I had to pay my 20% or 30%, depending on what my employer decided on. And not that they have to pay the whole amount, but that it should be split up between themselves and the taxpayers, because the taxpayers, we're not getting our full insurance paid. Our employees shouldn't get their full insurance paid on the backs of the taxpayers. And anything else that, you know, I know in the workshop, you talked about the number of police cars and things like that. And there's pros and cons to, you know, getting the 6 instead of the 4 and the 5 and, you know, making up for all that. But I think we need to, at this time of inflation and all the costs going up, that we really need to buckle down and try to stay within our means and go back to where we were at the 1.33, whatever it was. Maybe raise it a little bit, but the full 12%, I think there's going to be some concerns within the constituency. Thank you.
And we'll ask Eric to address that Swinyard Drive for you as well, if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor.
Sure. Good evening. So with the paving project on Swinyard, as with all of our paving projects, typically we do maintain one lane open. With this project, we are doing full depth reclamation, which in the past, usually you still leave one lane open since there are 3 lanes of travel there. So we don't anticipate completely closing the road down. There may be a situation due to moving equipment or something that may temporarily close it for a couple of minutes to be able to use 2 lanes to pass one piece of equipment to another, but should still be able to keep one lane open throughout the project.
And when are we going to start that project?
So If it's approved tonight, the plan is to start that in the second to third week of June.
Would that be done before the Independence Day celebration?
That's the plan. As of right now, with working with the contractors on a start date and staging everything out, the plan is to have it completed before the 4th. And obviously, we'll have to work very diligently to make sure everything hits the way it does. And if not, then we're not going to do it halfway. So if it's not going to be able to be completed before the 4th, then we'd wait to start after that.
Okay, because I know Greenbrier was also very concerned about if they were having brief paving and then the Independence Day celebration, how they were going to be, if they were going to be trapped in their homes or not.
Yeah, no, there's not going to be any trappage. We would never close both. They will always be able to leave through the second entrance on Old England Road. We're not going to close it down. Our limited construction stops at the 4-way stop there. We're not going to go into the subdivision.
And isn't it, we always have to have and maintain that we have to have accessibility for emergency
Correct.
vehicles to get in anyway.
Right.
So that's always a consistent. So that would not be a problem.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Eric.
Okay, any other citizens like to address the commission?
Yeah, we're also having a public hearing to address budget.
Yes,
correct?
yes, we are having a public hearing in 2
2
weeks
weeks.
on the budget.
3 weeks.
June 5th.
When?
I just have a quick question about the Stephen Beckham, 9684 Regency Court. This mention of a 12% tax increase, I went on your website and it says the property tax rate, current property tax rate is $1.65 per $100 of assessed value.
I saw that on the website.
And then I
last night
looked
as
at the
well.
budget and it says $1.55 per $100.
Current rate is $1.3897. It was $1.65 before the last reassessment and it was driven down. We'll get that updated on the website.
Yeah, that was confusing.
It's on the
Trying to
page that is under, was it under bid RFPs? And then it's just the taxes link is where it says the incorrect rate.
Well, it's still there somewhere. It says $1.65. I'm not sure where in the hierarchy. of the
Previously,
website.
right?
Correct.
That's what it was previously, before we had the reassessment a year ago.
Steve, you can't get a stealth raise by the tax being the reassessed. In other words, the property rises in Collegedale across the board. And so we have to lower the tax rate in order to make that equal.
And the current rate is what, $1.38?
9.7, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comments? Okay, if there are no other, then I will close this meeting out and we will reopen the public hearing, ordinance 1116. This is our second reading and public hearing. Can you read the caption, please?
An ordinance of the City of Collegedale, Tennessee, amending Section 3-1032 of the Collegedale Municipal Code in accordance with state law.
We finally eliminated the confusion. We're taking a provision out of our city code requiring the city judge to be a resident of Collegedale. State law and our state constitution just require them to be a resident of the county.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and-
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Don't we have to
We're
have
in
a
the middle
public
of
hearing?
public
Still in a
hearing.
public hearing.
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
And unless someone comments, Mr. Mayor, you've had a public hearing.
Okay, any comments? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and reopen the commission meeting and we have a motion for approval
Yes.
And I'll second.
and we have a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And under new business, can we have the first reading of ordinance 1118, please?
An ordinance of the City of Collegedale, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2023, and ending June 30, 2024.
Okay, any further discussion?
This is the budget that was presented at workshop and presented there. And the ordinance follows along with the state comptroller and includes the proposed rate of $1.55.
I wanted to ask a question about the VCIF grant. When the budget was presented at the workshop, I kind of felt like we were led to believe that that grant was going towards the 6 Durangos. But then in this, it says it's going towards equipment.
The VCI grant, the expenditures have to be on the expenditure side, and the grant comes in on the revenue side, and it is open for any equipment. In years past, we've used it for outfitting vehicles and that sort of thing. The biggest thing in the budget is to catch the $93,000 as a revenue.
So you're telling me we just need to have it in there? It doesn't need to be listed correctly what it's being used for?
It's being used for equipment. Whether we use that for radios in the cars or purchasing the cars is inconsequential.
It is inconsequential, though, if we're going to use it towards the cars or not, because I have commissioners that might be willing to vote for this if there's 93,000 credited towards that purchase or not.
It will be used for PD equipment.
Equipment, okay.
Which will go to outfit the cars.
Purchasing the cars or equipping the cars, or if we need new bulletproof vests, it will be things of that nature.
Any other questions by the commission?
I would like to see us work on the budget some more at a workshop before passing a first reading.
Can I ask specifically what changes you would like?
Well, specifically for me, I would like to see the receipts that I requested last week.
We're getting those for you.
Okay, but I'm not going to vote yes on a budget right now when I'm still waiting to see some questionable charges, the receipts for them.
What do you find questionable?
A $50 expense at a Cleveland nail spa, several food expenses, 55 cents at a Dollar Tree.
That was a birthday card for my 40th. The Cleveland spa was an accident of using the wrong card that was reimbursed immediately after.
I didn't see a chargeback for it.
That was reimbursed through the expenses, not a chargeback.
Receipted through the front desk.
Correct.
I guess if I've been given some kind of update before tonight, that would help.
We're getting those receipts for you.
Okay, thank you.
Are these things that we've already went through with the auditor? And
Those
it-
will be audited as part of this year's audit. There are typical expenses.
Right, I understand that, but these are things that have already been.
Not yet. They will be. There are
They will
this year's
be.
Expenses
In
between
June.
January and now. They will be audited in June. The specific time window that Commissioner Sadler requested.
Okay.
But to your point, these are things that they do look at.
Yes, they are. And then in the past, similar things have occurred and it's met their approval. Because, and that's what I was concerned about. My concern is this. If something that we know that is going to be appropriated, and it is appropriate, why are we spending times of our employees, which costs them the city more money, and time which could be used more, I want to say, in a positive manner? I think it's going to be, to me, that's not cost effective. You know, I mean, we look at the receipts and everything, and we have every right to ask for them and to look at them, but I don't want to be frivolous with things, and I don't want to be redundant, nor do I want to waste our employees, even though they get paid for it, their time when it could be used more constructive. You know, and hunting down a 55-cent card, personally, I would have probably just paid for the card out of my own pocket. But I think there was probably more things that was pertaining, like we do take care of, like when we have a retirement dinner for somebody, that comes out of city funds. There's a budget set a year for certain things that are miscellaneous that at the discretion of the city office and so forth, and our general manager, and they know they have to answer to us, they're allowed to use that. My question is, okay, this may be just me. It's my place to make sure that money is used appropriately. It's not my place to do the city manager's job. That's not what a commissioner does. Okay? If there's something that is really abusive and gross negligence, Yes, I want to stop that. That's why I screen the budget. That's why I look at things and so forth. But I don't want to waste time when it could be used, like 8 hours to look for something, when that time could be used in a more productive manner, getting on with city business. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so I think we have to use a little wisdom here. Are we going to nickel and dime everything, even though every nickel and dime is accounted for? And once it's been passed and our auditors check it and so forth, and we get it, and we work hard to make our auditors make sure we're with state and what it should be, and we work very diligently that we do not rip off our citizens. You know, I'm one of them people. I pay those taxes, you know. And so I'm very tight with how money goes and make everybody held accountable. At the same time, I don't want to be micromanaging, because then I'm taking away the responsibilities as a city commissioner that I'm supposed to be doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I do not want to put off another workshop for this, because we have talked about the workshop. I think what we need to do is look at it, see what it is that we need to bring up. We can discuss it in an open meeting, whatever, and then address those situations. But to put it off, we have time after the first reading, then we can come back and look and see if we need, if the citizens have concerns and stuff, then address those situations. Okay?
What
So
I'm
that's just my
afraid,
thought.
what I'm afraid of happening is what I've seen before is we rush through a first public reading, then we get to the second public reading. If we have a large number of citizens show up, they may be told, okay,
Excuse me.
you're going to get a minute or two, or all of you are just going to repeat yourselves when you're in line. And then I'm afraid of citizens not getting to speak. I'd rather us do some work on the front end.
And that's why
Can you
citizens have
not-
the right to come to the workshops, and that we talk, you know, and so forth. I don't want us to, I don't want to misuse time. I want to use it wisely, like you said, and you have some valid points. I appreciate that. But at the same time, we work underneath an umbrella, and I apologize for my voice. I have allergies and it's very difficult to talk. My husband appreciates that. But I think we need to move ahead. And we have to move ahead along with the state's time frame. We do have to have a budget put into place. I don't want any budget. I want an appropriate budget, because our new year starts July 1st. So we need to make some headway. Some of the things that you're addressing, this isn't what I'm going to say. We're going to have to make adjustments all the way through the year, depending on what, you know, what arises and so forth. So I would like to see us just to continue on and then move from there. That's just me. But that's me working with years as being as a commissioner and how the government works. No, and I don't go along with everything the government does. And they will tell you I have disagreed with them quite a bit. You may just not hear me scream and holler it out in front of the public. I do my screaming and hollering behind doors and get my facts in a row. You know, so I think we need to move forward. That's just my.
Well, I'm never privileged, I guess, to what questions you're asking. Unfortunately, when I ask a question, you all end up knowing, which is completely fine. I'm just not aware of what questions you ask behind closed doors.
Well, no,
Well,
I
I
bring them
have,
up in the front. You know, you've got every question that I've ever asked them. When I ask questions up here among everyone, we don't get together, sunshine law, and discuss as a whole. We have to do that in an open, you know. So that's what I do. I go and I get my information. They're not present when I get my information. And then I go do my homework. And then when we're together here, I present my information. And then you get the questions I'm concerned about. Unless somebody emails me something, then I'll address the citizens or whatever. I'll go look things out. But there's certain things that we have to fall in line with. You can discuss things, but you can't tell people what you're going to vote for or whatever. So you don't go and party behind closed doors with somebody else to, I want to say, what's a good word? Gang up or whatever. What is that the word you used? Or something? Maybe that's not the word you used, but it's kind of basically like that. No. I think that I'm hearing everyone's concerns and I'm taking it all in and I'm writing them all down.
Did you have any other points you wanted to bring up?
About this, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
Well, she said some of the things. What I've tried to do over the years is when something like important as this comes up or a different ordinance that's going to affect the city in a major way, because I try to go in and talk with them so that when I get emails and phone calls and things from the constituents, I know how to answer their questions. So, but that's how I've done it over the years.
And it works. That's basically what I've done. That way I can ask a lot. And if I'm not satisfied, I'll keep asking or digging or looking or researching. And so you do a lot of legwork, you know, and we try to work coherently with each other, like Gorilla Glue.
Was there anything right now in this first reading of it that y'all would like to see flexed on or adjusted that you anticipate that you would like adjustments in the budget? Or are you leaning towards it's okay with as it is?
I think what I'm looking at right now is when you're looking at the budget, the pros and cons. We're also looking at or I do, I can't speak for everybody else, but I look at to see, in my own mind, I play devil gets out. Okay, we're talking about, you're saying you don't know the budget with the 12%, whatever. Why? Okay, you have to look, there's a whole lot that you have to take into that. And I live on a fixed income, all right? Have for many years. And I take that into consideration, not on myself, but how's it affecting everyone? You know, what's going to happen if we don't? We haven't had an increase in many years because we just don't like to make our citizens have to pay more. Unfortunately, we don't.
Wasn't
have
it
the
2
retail
years we had an increase?
I'm thinking over a span. I've been in Collegedale since 1999, and we've had 3 total in 99 versus where other cities have had, I'm talking about nearby like Chattanooga and all that, they're annual. And it's been very minute. The worst one was the one that we had that time, and we had to take a chunk, and we did not want to do it. But it's either that or I don't want us to be in a bankrupt position again.
So there are things that I disagree with.
Yeah.
I mean, and you heard me in the last
I did.
meetings. So, and the challenge is I sat back and I went back and looked at a few things. So I asked for people in the audience if we could reduce the number of police cars we're trying to get from 6 to 4. But I remember several times before where we got so far behind in maintenance and the cars not being able to get produced fast enough for us, we were in a shortfall of cars. And these cars do a lot of road wear and they get driven fast, trying to get to places in a hurry for the citizens. And I know that, for example, EMS, they have to go through and replace trucks pretty quickly. And, if you don't have dependable vehicles, that's rough, to be able to get there. And I've also mentioned we need to sell any excessive cars to weigh-in so that we don't
And I agree
have.
completely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we even with the chief, we have discussed that.
But,
I'm sorry, my bad.
and I'm not in for all the salaries, but I think that in today's job market, you have to be competitive. And if you're not, you're going to see people leaving. And, Public Works, they make pretty low salaries. And it's easy for them to pick up and go to someplace else, and that puts us in a world of hurt. And the tax rate adjustment, for people who don't know about the tax rate adjustment, I'm not good about explaining it. But when we accepted the tax rate adjustment, that really hurt us from an overall. Is that right?
So when homes are reassessed and assuming they go up in value, that cannot create a windfall for the city. So the state law forces the tax rate to be driven down. So 4 years ago, when taxes were raised up to $1.65, the subsequent year at the reassessment, they were driven down to $1.3897.
And that really kind of takes money
To
out
make
of
it
our.
revenue neutral. And I would expect the exact same thing next year. If this property tax rate is approved, I would expect it to be driven down in the reassessment to the low $1.30s.
So in my sense of thing, those are things, the cars, is it really gonna make that big of a difference? I have to make the decision, am I gonna vote for the budget, even though I disagree with stuff, and that's what I have to, in my mind, deal with, so.
It's that balance of, we know, I don't want us to be in the same position as a city that we were in before. We've worked hard, that this commission has, to come up and to take care of our needs and to take care of our employees. I remember a time when they didn't make any, we were having such a huge turnover. We were barely paid anything to our employees. Now, as for the employees, most of them have to pay for their family. I think what you're referring to is those that are, there are some incentives, and Wayne, you can help me with this, that certain key managers,
So
they get their insurance paid. It
correct.
doesn't mean it gets their whole family insurance paid. Am I misunderstanding that?
It does if they have a family. Everyone else pays 88% of the family. In
Okay.
industries like public works, it's roughly 50% nationally that's completely paid. The other half is some percentage. Some of our peers, they pay 100% of the individual's insurance, and then you pay your 88% of the family difference.
Mhm.
The city chose this probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Or even
When I
before
came
that.
20 years ago, I think.
Who of our peers are offering full insurance?
I would have to double check.
I
just
think
know
that's
across
just the
industry,
key managers,
I mean,
I understood.
For key
right?
managers, who of
Yeah.
our peers, you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Because I know that there was a change that like because I asked about that
Reduced
not too
it.
long ago. You and I had a meeting about that, not about a few weeks ago. Because even where I'm at, my insurance is paid for me as a teacher, but I pay my family, to be covered. I pay that. But key managers, like principals and things like that, they're covered because they're key managers or the head or whatever. It's part of their salary. It kind of balances out versus having to give them the money, a higher salary, gross wise or whatever, and then they pay their own. In other words, they're going to pay.
It's their benefits.
It's their benefit
Total
package. And that's pretty much what this is. And it's cheaper for the city overall, like what I'm talking about, like.
Well, we don't have employer payroll tax on it.
Yeah. So
But
that's the
it's a
thing.
policy that's been in existence for a long time. It's not new.
No, it's not new. But it was the better deal in the long run. To save the money for the city.
Okay, any other discussion with the commissioners? Commissioner Baker, I would agree with you. I think we need to move forward with the first reading tonight. I think we've had adequate time since the workshop to delve into this. I know we've all spent time looking at this budget and pulling through it. So I would agree with you there.
I move that we accept the ordinance 1118.
Okay, we have a
As
motion for
written.
approval. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Nay.
Vice Mayor Johnston.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. Okay, now we have first reading of ordinance 1119. Read the caption, please.
An ordinance to amend the official zoning map to rezone certain properties from industrial I-1 to C2 shopping center commercial, more particularly described as Hamilton County Tax Map 132ID, parcel 012, said properties being located within the corporate limits of Collegedale, Tennessee.
I'll ask Jason to go over this briefly for you. And it did come with a recommendation from staff and the planning commission for approval, and the applicant is present.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jason Allen. I'm the staff planner for the city. So this is zoning case 2023-01, or ordinance 1119. So just a basic description. This is parcels located off 9422 Lee Highway. So the applicant is proposing to rezone an existing 5.6 acre parcel from industrial to shopping center commercial, or C2. So here's just the basic outline of what the C2 zone allows, just your general commercial.
Oh, okay.
So here's the parcel map. It's directly south of Lee Highway. You have Cambridge Square to the north.
This is the old Buff salvage property.
Mhm.
So these are some photos of how the site is today. There was buildings in the past, as Wayne just said. Those have since been demolished, and it's more of just a vacant parcel. So here's the current zoning map. So the project today is currently zoned as industrial. To the north, we have industrial. To the east, we have industrial. To the south, we have industrial. And to the west, we have a mix of industrial and shopping center commercial. For surrounding land uses, the project is currently vacant. To the north, we have Lee Highway. To the east, there's an animal hospital and upland label. To the south is industrial use, and to the west is vacant land and industrial uses. So here's a site plan of what the applicant is proposing. So it'll be the center parcel. And directly to the north where Lee Highway is met, they are going to be proposing a coffee shop. So staff comments. So 9422 Lee Highway is existing 5.6 acre parcel, currently zoned as industrial. Previously, the parcel was used as an industrial type use business and has since become vacant prior to 2018. The applicant has submitted a speculative site plan which shows a potential coffee shop for future development. If zone 2023-01 is approved, the applicant will submit a revisionary plat with site and civil plans at a later date to further develop the coffee shop. So they would split the coffee shop off of that parcel and make it its own. The intent would be to subdivide the parcel, subdivide the property with the goal to separate the coffee shop and develop from the rest of the existing 5.6 acre parcel. So 9422 Lee Highway and its surrounding areas is currently vacant, and it really doesn't complement the surrounding uses or the businesses in the area. Rezoning the specific parcel to shopping center commercial will better suit and complement existing surrounding uses while applying stricter development standards. So we're basically downzoning, and it comes with more strict standards such as landscaping, and we do site and civil and design review for these type of projects. Staff believes that reshaping of the general area and rezoning to a commercial use would closely match current market demand and promote future growth and development. So currently, the project is really only proposing to change the zone. However, this might be a part of a future PCD. So the PCD is a planned commercial development. It's intended to integrate development and provide an opportunity for cohesive design to encourage clustering of commercial and higher density residential uses. So we don't want to overpromise anything. This is just might be a potential of what this could become later on. So with that, staff recommends the approval of zone 2023-01 and ordinance 1119. And if you have any questions, I'm available and the applicant's available.
I have a question. Do we foresee the courthouse street ever opening up to go through there?
No, ma'am, we don't. As part of a future development, it would, let me rephrase that. All of the potential developments on these parcels have discussed abandoning that right of way. That's an existing right of way from the old James County days. But at this time, without a development plan to go with that, it would be presumptive to abandon that.
Okay. So is that the street in Collegedale?
It is an unopened right of way, but the right of way is within the boundary of Collegedale. So it would go to the planning commission and the commission for abandonment when the application was made.
Okay, thank you.
If it was owned by a pre-existing county government, then when the city incorporated, it became the city's right of way.
Okay.
The applicant's here and can speak.
Thank you. Barry Payne, we're the developer of Cambridge Square, and we see this as a complementary development to Cambridge Square. One thing I think your question, that road, I believe, is not wide enough. What's there is not adequate to do a road in today's, what's
That's what
required.
that's what I wondered.
Yeah, it's only like, I think that easement's like 20 feet wide or something. So, but we will provide access in there when we get finished. But one thing I do want to say, I don't want to, the coffee shop that we're talking to is a national brand. I can't tell you that what normally happens, the national brand will have, their real estate department will have to meet and approve this site. So I don't want to oversell that. This is what what made us come for the zoning changes. That's what was interested, but we believe that the C2 is appropriate, whether the coffee shop tells us they're not going to come or not. We still see this as what we need to do moving forward to do the development. I didn't want anybody to think this, a coffee shop next month is something else. So I'm just telling you, that's kind of
Appreciate that.
where it is. Yeah. And I'm going to answer any questions you might have for me as well.
Well, I think this could be very good for the city of Collegedale.
Yeah, I think it'll be really exciting. We're excited to be a part of it for sure. We got a lot of work to do. And like they said, this is just step one. We expect to be back several times in front of y'all, kind of working out what the total plan will look like. But we appreciate you working with us for sure.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb?
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler?
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd?
Yay. And the next item is bid approval for various road improvements and full depth reclamation of Swinier Drive at City Hall. Tell us what we don't already know.
Good evening. So we had a bid opening for this project, and we had one responsive bidder. And the total bid project amount was $1,088,599.00. And that includes the full depth reclamation on Swinier Drive, paving, striping, paving Talent Road, about 7,100 feet of it, which is basically the end of construction on the TDOT project to where we stopped paving 2 years ago on Talent Road. And then also Sherry Lane, which is just off of Talent Road. And I've checked the pricing on this year's bid versus last year's bid, and everything's within about 5% of what it was. So it's pretty even keel. Now that total amount would be spent partially out of money we have in this year's budget, and then money that we're budgeting for in next year's budget, which is to be approved hopefully next meeting.
And what have you seen in terms of price increases with asphalt and other?
So it's been up and down a little bit. What the main difference is the type of asphalt that you use is where your price difference comes in. So for instance, last year, our D-mix cost was right at $155 a ton. This year, it's $163 a ton. So it's really not much different.
Okay. Other things that would account for the 5% increase?
Labor and oil, everything is, oil from this year to last year is pretty similar, but labor is up. And everyone's busy right now with everything going on. There's no one hurting for work.
Any other questions from the commission?
We obviously didn't have this in our packet just because it didn't close till 2 p.m. today. Is there
Right.
anything that forces our hand to have these bids closing right a couple hours before the commission meeting?
For all future bids, they will be included with the agenda packet. This had just gone out before we made that policy change.
So
It
will
was
they be,
advertised.
so they'll be closing like a few days before the commission meeting? so they
Correct.
Go in the packet?
Before is the new policy. They'll close on that Thursday so that we can include them in the agenda on Friday that is posted on the website.
I love that. I was actually going to recommend that. Is there any way that we could go ahead and get on board with that and push these to the next meeting so that we could include the bids in the packets for the public?
Swinier Drive will not make the 4th of July program if we do that. That was the conversation Eric and I had
Yeah.
today.
And we only got one bid, right?
Correct.
And that we've historically for paving only received one bid for.
I would say the last 6 years, 7 years.
Correct. Yeah, only bid we did.
And we've used them, right? 6 years.
Yeah, we've used them for
They're
6
very
years.
reliable.
Mhm. Yeah, and also with the way the state's doing their projects, if we push it off 2 weeks, they're already going to have other projects they put in line. So likelihood of them, if we push it another week or 2 weeks, would put us more or less starting in August, September, the end of the season.
You could only lay asphalt under certain weather conditions and certain times of the year.
Right. I mean, it wouldn't be necessarily an issue, but it would be best to get it done right now. I mean, part of that is we're using funds that we have in this budget that ends fiscal year June 30th. That's how we've always done it, to fit the projects and be able to make everything work together, is to do part of it before with last year's budget and the rest of it out with the new budget coming in. So that's how we've done it for the last 7 or 8 years.
And there's only one company that's bid.
Correct.
And there's only so much paving they can do in good weather too.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Because I know the work that's got to go, I'll move to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion for approval and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
I'm going to abstain since just on the principle of we haven't been putting these in the packets because we haven't been able to, but I understand that we're going to be doing that going forward. Just because the public hasn't had access to view it, and I haven't had time either to contemplate after viewing it, so abstain.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. Okay, thank you very much. And next we have bid approval for annual sewer cleaning and CCTV inspection of portions of the city's wastewater collection system.
You're getting your steps in.
Yes, I need them. It's been a day. All righty. So for this bid, we actually had 4 responsive bidders, and we're recommending that we go with the low bid, which was Bobby Littell and Sons LLC, for a total of $66,837.00. They were low bid. Next low bid was about $92,000. And then the high bid was a little over $300,000. So there was.
Have we used them before?
We have not used them before. The only company on this list we have used before was third high bid at $144,000. And we've done some research and we spoke with a low bid. They do a lot of work and they have some work in the area. And I guess this is what they were willing to price the project at. I did talk to some other contractors and they said that we wouldn't go wrong choosing them, that they've done good work. So.
They come highly recommended. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they've been in business for 30 plus years and had I think like 20 different cities that they'd worked for, doing projects from as low as 200,000 up to $3 or $4 million.
I guess it's like I do when I go shopping. Sometimes you could pay the highest price and get crappy work.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you get the lowest, you may get crappy work too. So I think I like reputable people so that we don't end up having to go back and redo things and costing the city more. But you haven't steered us wrong in many years.
Right. And we have in the contract, everything has to be done to PLCP standards. If we don't like the work, they get to redo it or they don't get paid. And then if they default on it, then we would go to the next contractor.
Well, it sounds like you've certainly done your due diligence and looking. Mr. Littell's not here tonight.
No.
Is that okay?
I make a recommendation that we approve.
And I'll second that.
Thank you.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Abstaining for the same reasons.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next we have our April finance report.
Good evening. You should have the April finance report in front of you. We're 83% of the way through the year, and we've received 102% of our projected revenues, which is great news. And we've spent 78% of our proposed expenditures. Most of the outliers that have been discussed in previous finance reports, the exception is our public utilities property tax. I don't think I've spoken about that. We received that in 2 large payments during the year, and we've only received 1 of those payments. So that's why it currently looks low.
Do we know where the other one is? Is
The
it
other
coming soon?
payment last year, we received one in June,
Okay.
so it may be this month or next month. As far as our bank balances go, we didn't do any transfers. We probably will do a transfer from checking into the general fund investment sometime before June 30th. Do you have any
other
questions?
Questions? Any of the commissioners have?
How is, I don't, I think I asked my question of way into this, but the governor said starting in August that we will not receive any sales tax on groceries.
So what the state
And-
has said is that we will be held harmless or made whole, and that they will fund that portion. As I explained to you, I have not found anything in the law or talking to our peers on a growth factor. So I believe there will not be a growth factor. We'll just get the same thing we got last month for those couple of months.
Okay,
But we've been assured in the way the law is written, it's not a net decrease for those.
yeah. It just concerned me when I saw part of our income going down because sales tax is mostly what we get month to month.
Isn't that just for August, September, and October?
Correct, for a
Okay.
quarter.
Mhm.
But we've been assured it's flat.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'll move to approve the financial report.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, I have a motion for approval and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next, request for reports from city administration and commissioners. Let's start with city commission, or let's start with the city administration.
So as a reminder, no workshop next week. I'm joining Bridget to go speak at the Signal Mountain Commission meeting to talk about the coalition. I did want to pose a question to the commission. Would you like Bridget to come to the next meeting to give a synopsis of the bills from this legislative session? I could very easily have her come and go over the documents that I sent to you last week.
I think it'd be helpful.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I'll
I think it'd
include
be
that
very
on
good.
the agenda for the.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Any other issues or items for discussion from our city administration? City commission?
I was going to ask, are all of our internal, external employment positions, are they advertised?
That are currently open. The one position that is being held is the lieutenant's position in PD.
No, like if there's ever a position open, are they always advertised for external and internal applicants? Like made available for people to apply?
99% of the time, the exception would be the safety position. We have an internal applicant that would be most suited for it, so we have not advertised that externally. But that's the only position I can think of in 7 years.
Have we never like explored maybe advertising all of our positions? So I'd hate to see us deprive the city of our absolute best workforce.
We can absolutely throw that position up. That's the only, I just want to be completely accurate. That's the only position I can think of since being here that was not originally planned. That position has not been advertised at all because it's in next year's budget. So I can absolutely advertise it publicly.
Okay. And I was going to ask, are we going to have any kind of discussion on expectations or desires for this year's fireworks or?
It's already been, haven't we discussed our 4th of July already?
I was under the understanding we did, and then we hired the Friends of the Festival to manage it for us.
Clear on that part. I'm just talking about, do we have a meeting where we get to put input like on where we would like the vendors set up or?
That has not typically been the role of the commission. We did a wrap-up after last year's 4th for suggestions then. And those suggestions were taken forward, an example being the screen in the vet park for pricing that we presented to the commission, and it was prohibitive.
Okay, and I had some citizens concerned about traffic plans. So have those already been made or are they in the works?
Those are in the works, and they will be pushed really hard like we did last year in social media, the website, et cetera, once everything's dialed in.
Okay.
Any other items by the commission?
I do. Spring Green Apartments. Andrew? drove by there a couple times over the weekend. The grass is pretty high. I don't think they're taking care of the grass. I know of 2 times this year that they've cut it. One, I think I mentioned it to you, and then they cut it on Sunday after, I think it was coincidence after I talked to you about that. But they're just not taking care of those apartments over there. And then on the apartment, it's the 5111 that faces David Smith Lane, where the garbage cans or the trash dumpster is. The wood fences have fallen down. There's mattresses back there. There's junk back there. It looks bad for the businesses, having people come to do business in the city, and it looks like that. And up until recently, it has not been this bad. My thought is they probably do not have a management company overseeing that any longer. I could be wrong, but it has never looked this bad. And if you could look into that for us, we definitely would greatly appreciate it. I know you're on top of it probably.
Oh, it's good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, in response to that, I've emailed Code Enforcement Officer Jeremy Greenleaf, and he's supposed to be coming in tomorrow, and I'll have him follow up on that for you.
All right, appreciate it. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, so Eric, I've noticed the automated trash truck has been down for 2 weeks. Is it? Came back today. Okay. I really feel from a safety perspective, I hate to see those guys riding on the back, and as crazy people drive, accidents do happen. So definitely appreciate that. Was the truck just worn out?
Well, yeah, we had the main packer had a failure, and so we had to send it down to get it rebuilt. But we do, whenever our automated trucks do go down, we try to limit the use of our rear loader to in subdivisions only.
Yeah.
Any kind of main roads, we send the other automated truck out after it. So
I know they were really kind of looking as they were getting on and off the truck the other day, so I appreciate that.
Yep. And our other automated garbage truck, which we have ordered almost 2 years ago, is slate to be built at the end of June. That's what they're telling us. And they say it's a pretty hard date, but we've been waiting for it for 2 years. So we'll see.
And I'm going to tell you, if you need equipment, not from just a city perspective, but also from a fire perspective, it's taken 2 to 3 years to get
Oh, yeah.
trucks.
Give you a number of years in a plus sign.
And it's
Right.
unfortunate.
It used to
I don't know
be-
about ambulances, but I know it's not an easy process.
Standards was 120 days, 190 was pushing it until COVID.
Yeah.
Now COVID, it's been 2 or 3 years. Now they're saying, even on new invoices, they're saying a year. Don't be excited.
Yeah.
Till it'll be a year.
Second thing, and I'll let you go. The right-of-way mowing on Edgemond Road, if you could look at that, it's getting high, and
Right.
Talent Road as well.
Yep. We're getting to those as fast as we can. We had a mower go down and we've had position turnover. We had a new guy starting today who has experience. We're putting him in the tractor. He was out there today. So we're getting after it as fast as we can.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And I just wanted to remind everybody that former Commissioner Hanson had passed away.
Yeah.
And definitely appreciate his service to the city and everything he did for us, and being a strong advocate for the city. So just keep him in your thoughts. That's all I have.
All right. Any other items?
No, I was going to talk about Commissioner Hanson, but since he did, I won't say anything.
No, go ahead.
No. Larry was a special person. He always listened to everything everybody said, and he always made sure he did his homework before he made a vote.
Do we have anything new with the airport?
So
We have a person out there that's working very hard.
We sure do.
So the last commission meeting, we did take the amended appraisals for both easement acquisitions on the north end for vote. They were approved. This past week, we had the checks cut for that. They're supposed to be picked up by the negotiator Wednesday morning, and we're closing at 10 o'clock. So we're still working on the final gentleman His property, it's going a little bit slower than we like, but we're still working on that. I'm also still working on our beacon. I had presented the installation manual to the electrician. He's supposed to be reviewing it to give us some guidelines as far as ground rods and some other lightning arresting equipment that we will need. The manufacturer doesn't get too specific on it, so I'm just waiting to hear back from that. But we are certainly trying to keep these projects rolling as quick as possible.
Okay, thank you very much.
You haven't found a pot of gold yet.
I'm still looking for that. If you find it, let me know, please.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other items we need to discuss? Okay, if there are no other items, then do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion. I'll
Second.
second.
And we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And we are adjourned. Thank you.